One broken rule could get you kicked out forever. And back then, that basically meant you'd die. We weren't the fastest animal out there. We weren't the strongest either. No claws, no fangs, no fur to speak of. Almost every predator nearby could kill us. So how did we not just disappear? Scientists searched old tribes for the answer, and they kept finding the same pattern. One unspoken rule followed everywhere. Break it, and the tribe turned on you. Follow it, and you almost never starved. This rule wasn't written down anywhere. It didn't need to be. Every single person just knew it. And breaking it was almost unthinkable. So what exactly was this rule? Let's go back to a normal hunting day. No fences, no hospitals, no grocery stores. One bad week could wipe out an entire family. And the real threat wasn't just lions or hyenas. The real threat was simply running out of luck. And luck alone can't be hunted, stored, or planned for unless you found a way to share it. That's exactly what this rule was built to do. Not share food, share luck itself. And stick with me, this gets stranger. Most hunts back then failed completely. Some tribes came home empty 3 days in 4. Imagine losing 3 out of every 4 paychecks. That was hunting. Constant, brutal bad luck. So luck, not skill, decided who ate. Today's winner could be tomorrow's failure. So here's what actually happened at camp. The hunter who caught food had to share it. Not as a favor, strict rule. Anthropologists call it demand sharing. You didn't ask nicely, you simply expected it. And the hunter couldn't really say no. Why give away food you worked hard for? Because tomorrow, the roles could flip. Sharing today bought you food on your bad days. It wasn't kindness, it was insurance. A living insurance policy paid in meat. No picture someone who broke that rule. Someone who caught food and just kept it. At first, the tribe would just gossip. Then came mockery. Loud, public mockery. Then people simply stopped helping him. No one shared their catch with him either. In the worst cases, he'd be cast out. And alone, out there, meant almost certain death. This wasn't just about meat, either. Knowledge got shared the exact same way. Where water was, which berries could kill you, that information could get you shunned too. Even shelter and protection followed this rule. You defended the camp. The camp defended you. Compare this to our closest animal relatives. Chimpanzees share meat sometimes, but reluctantly. They'll fight over it, hoard it, guard it. Humans built an entire system around not doing that. A system so strict it felt like law. Except no one ever had to write it down. Elders enforced it just by watching closely. Children grew up seeing it every single day. By adulthood, it wasn't even a choice anymore. It felt less like a rule, more like instinct. Now here's the part that gets interesting. This insurance system had to be airtight. Even a few people cheated it, but the whole safety net could collapse. So punishment for breaking it had to be severe enough that almost nobody dared try. This wasn't just an African savanna thing either. Arctic hunters followed a near identical rule. If you caught a seal, the whole camp ate. No exceptions for who threw the harpoon. In a place that cold, hoarding meant someone froze. Rainforest tribes on the other side of the planet. Same rule. Different forest, same unwritten law. 3 continents, and 0 contact with each other. And somehow humans kept landing on the same solution. That's not a coincidence. That's math finding an answer. Let's actually watch this rule get tested. One brutal dry season, food got scarce for everyone. Even sharing barely kept the camp fed. One hunter started quietly hiding extra meat. He told himself it was just being careful. But someone always noticed. Someone always noticed. Within days, the whole camp knew his name. Not as a hero, as a warning story. That's the part that made the rule so powerful. It didn't need police, and gossip did the enforcing. A bad reputation traveled faster than any punishment. Modern scientists actually tested this instinct directly, gave strangers money, and a simple choice: keep it all. Died or share some with a partner. Most people shared, even with total strangers. And when someone hoarded everything, people got angry. Angry enough to punish them, even at a cost to themselves. That reaction makes no logical sense, unless it's ancient. It's the exact same instinct from that savannah camp. Thousands of years later, still running in the background, heads didn't need a lecture to learn any of this. They just watched it happen, meal after meal. By the time they were adults, it felt automatic. That's how a rule becomes something deeper. It stops being a rule, it becomes who you are. Let's slow down and follow one specific story. A young hunter once broke his leg on a hunt. Alone in the wild, that injury was a death sentence. But he wasn't alone. It came looking. They carried him back, fed him, and covered his hunts. For weeks, he contributed nothing. And no one complained, because years earlier he'd fed someone else's bad week. The debt wasn't tracked on paper. It didn't need to be. The whole camp just remembered. That's the entire system, working exactly as designed. No, let's flip the story completely. Some groups, historians believe, stopped enforcing this rule. Maybe resources briefly felt abundant. Maybe trust broke down. Hoarding crept in. Sharing quietly disappeared. And when the next harsh season hit, there was no safety net left to catch anyone. Some researchers think this is exactly how groups vanished. Not from a single disaster, from a rule quietly forgotten. Even our biology seems to back this up. Brain scans show sharing lights up our reward centers, the same centers triggered by food or affection. Evolution doesn't reward things for no reason. If sharing feels good, it's because it once kept us alive. Even toddlers show this instinct before anyone teaches them. Give two kids unequal treats and watch what happens. The lucky one often offers to even things out, unprompted. Nobody taught them that. It was already wired in. So this wasn't really a rule in the normal sense. It was closer to a survival algorithm, written not in language, but in consequences. Follow it, and your odds of surviving climbed sharply. Ignore it, and the math turned against you fast. And there's one more twist worth knowing about this rule. It wasn't really about splitting things perfectly equally. The best hunter often still got slightly more. What mattered was that nobody got left with nothing. Fair, not identical. A small but crucial difference. It kept skilled hunters motivated to keep hunting, while still guaranteeing everyone a baseline of safety. It's honestly a strangely elegant balance for the Stone Age. One famous group studied for this is the Jukahonsi, hunter-gatherers of southern Africa's Kalahari region. Anthropologists lived among them for years, just watching. What they documented matched this exact sharing pattern. Mate moved through camp until almost no one went hungry. Even successful hunters downplayed their own catches. Bragging was almost as frowned upon as hoarding. Because pride, too, could threaten the whole system. Staying humble kept everyone equally invested in each other. So here's the actual rule, plainly stated. You always share no matter what, not because you're generous, because you must. Researchers call it obligate reciprocity, a fancy term for a brutally simple deal. Feed others today, get fed on your worst day. It turned bad luck from a death sentence into just a rough Tuesday. And this rule may have shaped who we are now. That guilt you feel eating in front of someone hungry. That instinct to offer half your sandwich. Some scientists think it traces back to this exact rule. A rule with no police, no paperwork. Just hunger, memory, and a tribe watching closely. And somehow that was enough to keep us alive. Think about how strange that actually is. No laws, no writing, no central authority anywhere. Just one shared expectation, repeated meal after meal. And it held an entire species together for tens of thousands of years. Compare that to the hoarder from earlier. He wasn't punished for being selfish, exactly. He was punished for breaking the insurance system everyone relied on. That's the real twist behind this whole video. Sharing wasn't a nice to have back then. It was as essential as fire or shelter. And weirdly, we never fully turned it off. You can still see it today everywhere you look. Splitting a bill, covering a coworker's shift, lending a friend money with no real contract. Whole tiny echoes of that same ancient insurance system. A system with one job: make sure no one starves alone. Eventually, farming changed everything about how we lived. Food could finally be stored, owned, and locked away. And slowly, the old sharing rule started to fade. Property replaced the tribe as our safety net, which worked. But it also meant something quietly vanished. That deep, automatic sense that no one eats alone. Today, loneliness is one of our biggest health risks. Not from lack of food, from lack of that old bond. From rule wasn't really about meat at all in the end. It was about never letting anyone face hardship completely alone. And maybe that's the part worth holding on to today. The rule wasn't kindness, it was survival math. Would you have followed it or broken it?